Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. We're back again with yet another main set legend from Foundations that I'm looking at from a commander standpoint. And today is Kiora, the Rising Tide. 2 in blue for a 3/2 Merfolk Noble. And whenever Kiora enters, draw 2, discard 2. Fine. However, Threshold, having 7 cards in our graveyard, we get to have, when she attacks, we get to put the 8/8 Sinian of the Deep, legendary blue octopus creature token into play. Right, so let me get this right. We draw 2, discard 2, so that helps us with Threshold. We get another 5 cards in the yard. We've got Threshold. We attack with Kiora, and then we get to go smacking and get an 8/8 to block. Yeah, okay. This makes perfect sense. I'm surprised we got another version of Kiora this early, I have to say. But this one, yeah, bit of fun. Had some fun with it, so here we go. Here's how Kiora plays out today for us. Right then, so at the beginning, not really sure, well, there's not a price on this card, but anyway, Shoreline Looter from Bloomborough, can't be blocked, and when we deal combat damage to player, we loot, and well, we loot until we hit Threshold, and as soon as we hit Threshold, we get to keep the card in our hand, so it's a nice way of building it up early in the game for us to make sure Kiora gets there. Yeah, Thassa's Oracle's here. I needed a backup win condition. With the amount of looting, card drawing and discarding we're doing, we might be able to sneak off the occasional win with Thassa's Oracle here. As long as X is greater than the number of cards left in our library, we should get there quite happily. Thought Shaka has a nice little Threshold ability. Put a +1/+1 counter on it when we've got Threshold for 1 and a blue. And draw a card. Yeah, okay, we can only do it once. But hey, that becomes a 2/4 then, but that's a little bit of card draw if we need it. Cephalid Ink Mage, when it comes into play, we surveil 3, so you know, as long as there are 7 or more cards in our graveyard, it can't be blocked. But that gives us a nice way of building Threshold quickly, especially if we hit 3 things we don't really want. Chrome Host Seed Shark, we have a few non-creature spells, so I figured we might as well have some incubation on the go. Mind Whisker, Surveil at the beginning of our upkeep each turn, and then as long as we have 7 or more cards in our graveyard, everyone's creatures get -1 to -0. A little bit of defense, I suppose. Night Hall Hermit, another one that has Threshold, gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked, so you're always going to get through for your 2 damage. Rune Seal Ward, we can just tap this to Surveil at any stage we want to, which works really nicely with Kiora. A nice early big blocker with Surveil, so we can build that Threshold quickly. And then jumping back to Battle for Baldur's Gate, Zelix Sanity Flare. Whenever a player mills a card, whenever a player mills 1 or more creature cards, you can get a Black Horror token. 1 and a tap. Target player mills 3 cards, so it helps us build up our Threshold quite happily. And then basically we get to get Horrors when we do it. Yeah, okay, we'll give this a run out. It sounds like fine. Cephalid Sage, going back to old school Torment. Threshold, when it comes into play, we draw 3 and discard 2. Enduring Curiosity just gives us a way to draw cards, as we all know from Duskmourn. It's been great in Limited and in Commander when I've been up against it, so yep, that appears. High Fae Trickster also comes in from Foundations, because I like the idea of giving all my creature spells everything flash. Likewise, Homunculus Horde also appears whenever we draw our 2nd card. Create a token that's a copy of this creature. Yeah, okay then. Light Shield Duo comes in. This creature enters Surveil 2 and has prowess. Yep, more ways of filling our graveyard up. Malleable Imposter, when it loads up, comes into the copy of the creature an opponent controls, except it's Fairy Shapeshifter, so if there's something big and gribbly on the other side of the board, we get a nice copy of it. Thank you. Same with Phyrexian Metamorph, and Shakasima of 1,000 Faces shuts down the legend rule. Can you think why? Yep, okay. Sinks of Forgotten Lore, I like this as well. Flash Flying, when this creature attacks, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gets flashback and its cost is equal to its mana cost. Yep, we'll go with that. Cavalier of Gales, draw 3, then put 2 in the bottom of our library, on top of our library in any order. When it dies, we get to do a bit of scrying. Overlord of Flood Pits, just to make sure that we can draw 2 and discard 1 when it enters, or when we attack, or whatever we do with it. It helps with the Threshold. Consecrated Sphinx also helps up. Whenever an opponent draws a card, we get 2. Curator of Destinies, enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of our library, face up, face down, we get one pile, the other one goes in our graveyard. Fear of Sleep Paralysis. Yeah. The more I play this card, the more I like it. Whenever this enters or another enchantment you control enters, fully unlock, or whenever you're fully unlocked, when you tap one target creature, put a stun counter on it, and stun counters can't be removed from permanents your opponent's control. So it does help out a bit, locking down the biggest thing on the board. Serpent of Yawning Death is also an enchantment, so that will trigger the sleep paralysis, but it just means all our lovely 8/8 guys can't be blocked. Spawning Kraken means we get 9/9 Krakens when our octopus deals damage, because it can't be blocked because of this one. So a little bit of, you know, the usual things you've seen before. Inspiring Sphinx enters the battlefield, draw cards equal to the number of opponents you can have, and then you get to create some flying Thopters with mana you have floating around. Ancient Silver Dragon, no maximum hand size, draw a whole load of cards. Yeah, a bit of against what you want to be doing with your threshold, but if you've got no maximum hand size, you can play your cards out and do it that way. Deep Sea Kraken is just fun. We just suspend it, hopefully on turn 3, and then it just comes back eventually when everyone removes spells and removes time counters on our behalf, save us doing it any other way. Second backup win condition with Jace, Wielder of Mysteries if we go through our whole deck. And then the spells, we have Contingency Plan. Look at the top 5 cards of our library, put them into your graveyard. Put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest on top of your library in any order, which is nice for 2 mana. Counter spell for control, curate for some surveilling and drawing, so fill in the graveyard. Psychic Rift to control the board. Fascination, maybe to mill our opponent, or if they've scryed something important we think to the top, we can get rid of it this way if we have a turn before they go again. Mana Drain, not saying anything else really. Mission Briefing, we get Surveil 2, then you get an instant or sorcery, and basically you cast this card this turn. Surveil 2, then choose an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. You may cast that card this turn. If you do, put it in exile instead. That's fine, but Surveil 2 is nice. Unauthorized Exit, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, Surveil 1, so gets rid of an annoying enchantment or an artifact. Lunar Insight, I just like from Foundations, draw a card for each different mana value amongst permanents we control, well, non-land permanents I should say. Uncharted Voyage, put something on the top or the bottom, Surveil, more filling our graveyard up. Vanish from Sight, target non-land permanent's owner puts it on the bottom or top of their library, and again Surveil 1. And then we have Time Spiral. Now, you're probably wondering why I've put Time Spiral in where we're really into Threshold. There are going to be games when your Threshold has basically, you've had to mill things that you really need in your library. So this is a really last minute, I need to save myself, this is what this is here for. Yes, it will take away Threshold from Kiora, because obviously it exiles itself and doesn't go to your graveyard. But at the end of the day, you might need it to reset everything if it's all gone bond, or you might be up against a mill deck and you grab this, and that gives you the chance to really do your Threshold properly, but we'll see. Artifacts, Tantalite, Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman for the ramp, Candlestick, because whenever it attacks on a creature you get to Surveil 2, so I'll go with that, and at the end of the day you can sack it off for 2 mana to draw a card, so another way of getting another card in for Threshold if you need one more. Ramp, really annoying artifact. This really does help you get Threshold quickly. More ramp, more ramp, more ramp, and more ramp, and a bit more ramp. Again, same thing with Midnight Clock. The 12 counters do mean you shuffle your graveyard into your library and draw 7 new ones, but at the end of the day, we might need it to do it to get where we need to be. And then we have Mirror Box and Mirror Gallery. It makes me laugh that Mirror Box says the legendary rule doesn't apply. Legendary creature you control get +1/+1, and each non-token creature you control that gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control the same name. Last bit's not appropriate, but 3 mana for the legendary rule doesn't apply. 5 mana for the legendary rule doesn't apply with nothing else. But we need them both so we get a lot more Krakens. That's what it's here for. Sword of Once in the Future's here because when we attack with a crit creature we get to do the surveilling thing and then flash back anything with mana value 2 or less. That's an instant or sorcery. Throne of Eldraine, because we are playing blue at the end of the day and only blue. Yes, I didn't have this in yesterday's deck, which was mono red. I'm very aware of that. I decided to leave it out for once. But in this deck, you need the extra mana, and you know, having the ability to pay 3 mana and draw 2 Pretty good. The magic mirror costs 1 less for each sorcery unit in our graveyard. The chances are, because we've only got 12, so we're not really pushing it, so it's probably going to be high up to cast, but if we can get it down, having no maximum hand size and then drawing a card each turn is quite good fun, especially if it then gets destroyed and we have to discard a lot, which helps us hit our threshold quite easily. Gossip's Talents kicks off the first of the enchantments, because whenever a creature we control enters, we get Surveil 1, and then we can level up as things go along quite happily. Ominous Seas, because, you know, another way of creating Kraken, pretty good. Search for Azcanta, yep, we can basically surveil at the beginning until we flip it, and then go from there, so it's all good. Earth Watching Threshold, whenever an opponent attacks you or one or more, or a planeswalker you control with one or more creatures, you get to draw a card. Yeah, nice way of drawing cards when people attack us. Rhystic Study, and then Extravagant Replication. I want to play a little bit more of Foundations, and at the beginning of our upkeep, create a token that's a copy of another target non-land permanent you control. I have done this, and I have copied lots and lots of Sol Rings. It really does help, believe me. Land-wise, a whole load of things are getting blue mana into place, and basic land cycling. Search, Scry. Ooh, sorry, that came from nowhere. Sacrificing this when we get Threshold to draw 3, then discard 3. That's nice. Desert of the Minefield, Morph, Search. Halimard Depths to look at the top 3. Hall of the Storm Giants, so you get a big creature into play that can't really be easily interactive with. Nykthos is here today. Temple of the False Gods here today. Rivendale's here today. You can get the rest of the lands, basically. There's nothing really that exciting in the lands thing, but that's it. That's my take on Kiora for the day. Yeah, fun one to play out. Going to see how it goes when we play on stream. So yeah, come and give me a follow down below on Twitch. Come and give me a follow here on YouTube. Subscribe here, please. Really do appreciate it. And yeah, once you see me on Twitch, you can come and watch me go live on Twitch and playing these decks out. So for now, thanks for watching. Tomorrow, jumping over to Jumpstart. No, never mind. Just have a little bit of fun over there before we do the final mono-coloured commander from Foundations on Thursday. So for now, thanks for watching, take care, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.